Hi everybody, I'm John Lincoln with Ignite Visibility, and today I'm going to talk to you about what you need to know for search engine optimization in 2019. And I should know a thing or two about it because I was Search Marketer of the Year, and in addition, my company is the #1 ranked SEO company on Clutch.co, the most credible B2B review site within our industry. So today I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the things that you need to be focusing on for search engine optimization as we go into 2019. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to break down search engine optimization by different types of websites. I think that that's a really common misconception in a lot of cases when it comes to search engine optimization, that it's a one-size-fits-all solution. That is absolutely not the case. So when it comes to search engine optimization, there are actually 5 different types of website programs that you need to be aware of. So the first one is local. The second one would be news, the third one would be e-commerce, and then the fourth one is branding, and then the fifth one is FAQ, or just a general information site. For all of those different types of websites, there are different programs that are associated with them, and if you don't implement the right program for the right site, you're gonna have pretty bad results. Okay, so the first one I'd like to talk about is local. So local SEO is basically built for businesses that have different locations. So every single business generally has a location, but in some cases they don't let people come into their location. So if you have a location, you don't let people come into your location, that is, not something that you're not going to push local SEO really hard. But if you're a multi-location business, and we have a lot of clients that are multi-location businesses here, then you are going to want to do local SEO. So you might have 5 locations, 10 locations. I've worked with businesses that have as many as 10,000 locations, right, across the United States or across the globe. So when it comes to this type of program for search engine optimization, it's very, very different, completely different than an e-commerce site. So here's how it works. Basically, within the local rankings, you're going to see ads at the top, then you're going to see the maps. The maps is something that you want to rank inside of, and there's specific criteria for that. Then you're going to see the HTML listings, and within the HTML right there, you're going to have the opportunity for your own website to rank, but then in addition for that, you're going to have the opportunity for different profiles to rank specifically around your brand name, right? So if somebody Googles your brand name, you're going to come up and you're going to want to own that whole area from that local perspective in whatever city that you're in. And you're also going to want to have that HTML page and your map listing, your Google My Business listing, show up around general terms when people search for those as well. So a program for local SEO usually looks like something like a local directory website where they're going to be submitting your information to all these local directory sites. So you would use something like Uberall, you would use something like Yext, you would use something like Moz Local. Those are some of the biggest. In addition to that, you're creating a URL, you're adding content to those pages, you're refreshing those pages, you're optimizing each one of those location pages for usually 3 keywords. You're doing that across a mass scale. And then in addition to that, you're doing some kind of link building and general SEO for some of the top terms that you're also going after. So you're going to have your national terms, and those are going to be the ones that you're trying to get the main kind of general domain ranked for. And then you're going to have your local terms. So usually a local-based site will be broken down by kind of top-level national terms, down to the state-level terms, the city-level terms, and then all the way down to your multi-location business terms. So what you need to do is you need to put in place a program for a local listing service, and then in addition to that, you want to put in place a program so that you're refreshing content, you're adding new content, you're building up credibility, and then in addition to that, you're doing things like thought leadership studies, you're doing things like creative campaigns to drive links back to your site and to get kind of a social media buzz going as well. All of those things working together are going to be really important, but generally a baseline program just looks like, are things technically correct? Are you adding content on a regular basis? Are you doing content marketing? Do you have a quarterly kind of social media marketing campaign strategy? Are you doing thought leadership? Are you doing link building on the national level? And if you can do all those things together and put that into a great quarterly plan, then you're going to have a lot of success with your multi-location business and your local SEO. Now I could go way more down into specifics into how you can actually optimize a Google My Business page, how you can optimize a Yelp page to show up inside of Google, or so you can show up higher in Yelp, but I'll save that for another video. But local SEO, if you're a local business, should definitely be something on your radar for this year. Okay, so the next one I'd like to get into is e-commerce. So e-commerce is completely different than local SEO. When it comes to e-commerce, it's done in a different way, and here's why. Because you start with your top level categories, then you go down into your sub, and then your sub, right? So you might have an e-commerce optimization that could be all the way down to 4 levels deep. And if that's the case, that's much different than how you would approach something on the local SEO basis. In addition to that, for local SEO or for news sites, you're going to be writing much longer pieces of content, and those longer pieces of content are going to be living on the blog, or they'll be living on the service pages. When it comes to e-commerce, that's not the case. When it comes to e-commerce, you're going to be just writing a couple hundred words, probably putting that at the top of an e-commerce category page, optimizing a thumbnail up there, and then having anywhere from 30 plus products that show up on that page that are not part of Ajax, but actually shown in the HTML. So it matters the type of web technology that you deliver your elements in when it comes to e-commerce. A lot of people try to deliver their products within e-commerce through Ajax or JavaScript, and Google can't pick them up. So that's really important. But making sure you have good, clean optimizations, you are refreshing content, you are building out hubs, but not too much content on those category pages, and making sure you have something called a dynamic optimization on every single level that is very deliberate and makes it clear exactly what keywords you're targeting at each level within that e-commerce optimization. That's really, really important. In addition to that, e-commerce, once you've kind of got everything set up, it comes down to getting more reviews for more content, refreshing content, doing content marketing, and then putting in place a link building program and a program to get buzz. So you're seeing some kind of similarities there. You always want to have link building. You always want to have a program to get buzz. If you can do thought leadership, things to get people to come to your site even without the SEO, that actually helps the SEO in addition to that. So those are some things to think about when it comes to e-commerce, and there's a lot more that goes into that type of business as far as conversion rate optimization, but at the end of the day, making sure every single category is deliberately optimized, you've got great product optimization in place, and then in addition to that, watching for those technical issues that come up so much in e-commerce, which are things like duplicate content, just random URLs that kind of cannibalize your rankings in other places. So those are other things you're going to have to watch out for, as well as watching out for creating content that competes with your other categories. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, so now I'm getting into news sites. And news sites, really the name of the game with news sites is this. Basically determining what are the terms that you're going to be targeting, right? So if you having a clear roadmap, or these are 100 terms that we want to target this month, and then going after those terms and writing pieces of content that are usually 1,000 words or more, sometimes 2,000, 3,000 words. The longer, the better chance usually you have to rank in Google, and then just cranking that out, right? So developing a list of here's 100 terms, and these are, the 100 we're going after this month. These are the 100 we're going after this month. These are the 100 we're going after this month. And then making sure that if you're going after a term, you haven't already written on it. Because if you've already written on it, it's better to go back and refresh those pages. So for some of our news sites, we are refreshing hundreds of pages of content a month. And when you refresh hundreds of old pages of content a month, that re-optimizes them, brings them back to the top, they start ranking, you see this big jump in traffic. So absolutely love working on news sites. I believe that they're the simplest out of those different types of business models that we're discussing today. But really, it's just a matter of what new terms are you targeting, what old pages are you refreshing, and that's just on the article level. And then the other step is on the category level, making sure that the categories do not compete with the new content that you're creating. So what are you optimizing your category pages for, and what are you optimizing the new content for? In addition to that, of course, you want to have a link building strategy. You want to be doing studies and creative things and building up your social. All of that stuff kind of works together within that ecosystem. But generally for news sites, being very deliberate in the things that I just discussed, because I can't tell you how many news sites that I've seen, they don't really think about actually what the SEO strategy is and have a clear segmented approach across the website for exactly what they're targeting. In addition to that, creating a good internal linking strategy and having a clear hierarchy of internal linking within the site, so you know you're linking to your most important pages because you want these 100 pages to rank for these 100 terms. Finally, and this is actually true with all of the different ones, but making sure that if you have these 100 pages that are driving the bulk of the revenue and traffic, or leads and traffic, or it could be 10 pages, whatever your top money pages are, focusing more on those with content, focusing more on those with links, focusing more on those for user experience. That's what makes the really big difference, right? And so in many cases, we try to update those pages and make those better on a monthly basis. If you can do that, then they're always going to be getting better and better and better, and you're going to have good visibility on them. So for news sites, the only other thing that I would mention that can be really good is having an outreach linking program. A lot of these news sites think that they don't need to do it, but if you're linking, if you're looking to build links and you're asking for unlinked mentions, so if somebody mentions your news site, you ask them to link back to you. If you're promoting articles, you're going to get a lot more links through outreach than if you were not. So make sure that you take the time to at least have someone dedicating 10 to 30 hours a week, right? So that you are building links consistently back to your news site. Okay, so the last two that we have here are FAQ sites, and then in addition to that, we have branding sites. And FAQ sites, when I say that, you know, think of like Intuit for an example. They have a lot of different forums on how to use things. So usually when you're looking at a type of forum optimization, there's a lot that can go wrong there. You can have too much thin content, Google doesn't rank anything, you can have a lot of duplicate content. It's usually site structure technical issues, or you know, things get out of control, you get a lot of spam. Those are things you really want to watch out for. So when it comes to these type of sites, it's very important that you have a clear dynamic optimization for the categories, and then in addition to that, you know, you're categorizing the posts into clear categories, putting in place either rel next, rel prev for pagination, or just rel canonicalling everything back to the main page so that there's some unique content there. But generally, for those type of sites like those, the FAQs, there's not a lot of emphasis that's put on SEO. On the branding sites, on the other side, there is a lot of emphasis that's put on SEO. So think if you're a big jewelry company, but maybe you don't sell direct from your website and you just want a great site for branding, and I've worked on a couple of these, you know, you're going to be trying to rank for these top big terms, right? So if that's the case, you're going to approach that much like you would any other type of SEO programs on these other ones. What's that main page that you're really trying to determine is the one that you want to rank? Making sure that you're refreshing that on a monthly basis, making sure you have long form content on that page, updated facts and figures, making sure that you have a link building program that's very good for that page, that you have people visiting this page for a reason, and in general that you're kind of putting it front and center in your internal linking strategy, your website, your social sharing, and all those things together. That's going to help that rank better. So those are a couple things to keep in mind when it comes to branding sites and FAQs, and I won't go over all the other stuff because I just touched on a lot of it already and it gets a little redundant. Okay, so summing it up, what are the top things for SEO when it comes to 2019? So here's the thing, I only went over the basics, but let's start with the basics and then we'll get a little bit more advanced, okay? So basics, the main things you need to think about are a good link building program and a good content program. So content for your top pages and then also content for your content marketing. Those two things together, if you're always adding more content, you're always improving your pages, you're always building links, you are going to see success. The other element is you will not see success if you have technical issues. So also monitoring your website from a technical perspective on a monthly basis to make sure things don't break. Make sure the website's not blocked, making sure that there's not duplicate content. And again, that's really big for larger sites that are custom built or they're on CMSs that have common problems. But there's other things to look out for. So there's also AMP, right? So AMP pages are these really, really fast pages that you can create that show up in mobile. And that's something that there's been a lot of discussion around. Google said, come out, you have to make these accelerated mobile pages. And then what happened is they said, oh, we kind of figured it out. Now they're not really as important as they were. And also we saw a lot of people who pushed them live had conversion issues. So AMP, still important, but something that maybe could be going away in the next couple years. Not sure. Something you're going to have to keep an eye on. Next thing, Google Discover. Google Discover is the new way within a phone where information just gets pushed to you if you kind of swipe to the side on an Android. So information will get pushed to you, different articles. If you can show up inside of Google Discover this year, you are going to get in front of 800 million people a month in an entirely new feed from a phone. And there's a whole nother video that I did on that, which you can check out. But really, it's just a matter of people interacting with your content. In addition to that, there's other interesting things that are coming out. Really watch your Ajax and your JavaScript. So Google came out with new recommendations, and they basically said that you must have an HTML base for all of your content if you want to rank well. So that's new documentation that came out for Google, and something that's been a big issue. We've seen a lot of sites take nosedives because they tried to go too Ajax heavy and Google wasn't able to pick it up. Another thing, have a great user experience. So important that people actually want to use your site and interact with it. Next, take the time to go back and rewrite your titles and meta descriptions. If you can do that, that's going to bring a lot more click-through rates to your site, and you're going to be able to get more traffic for the real estate that you already have out there. So rewrite your titles and descriptions, and if you go inside a Google Search Console, you can see what your click-through rates are right now and see if you can improve those. Really, really important ones. So, even this year, think about going back and finding your 300 lowest click-through rates and rewriting every single one of those. Next, try an SEO test. So an SEO test would be if you find a specific segment of your website, so maybe just a series of subcategories, and increasing the amount of content on those pages, the amount of reviews on those pages, trying to put an optimized image in place, putting a rich snippet on that page with review markup so that you get stars, changing the title and description, and then rolling that out across those pages. If it increases click-through rates, rolling it out across the entire website. That's another great thing that you should be doing this year. So make sure you have some SEO testing as part of what you're doing. So I could go on and on about all the new stuff with search engine optimization. I could talk to you about Google Stories. I could talk to you about little technical elements. I'm not going to do that. I just want to sum this up for you right now, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is great content and links, right? And then also creating a buzz about your company, right, through good general marketing. Don't only do SEO, and then finally being technically correct. So those are the main things that you need to do to win in 2019. So think about what's the program to add a ton of content to your site, refresh old content, build links every single month, monitor your website to make sure it's technically correct every month, and then run a really great marketing campaign every quarter so there's always something new that people are talking about. So that's it for SEO in 2019 today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Ask any questions and I'll make sure to respond to you. Thanks so much. Have a great day.